Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Cultist back again with another logic video, and today we're talking about the subject of how to make random AI pathfinding, which is not quite the same as normal AI pathfinding. Basically the ability for the AI or NPC to find its way around the level without any kind of guidelines or set path, so it could just wander freely. Probably the easiest method is using a little gadget in Animate called a puppet recorder, I suppose. Record possession. I call it a puppet recorder, but whatever. All you gotta do is click on this little baby, and then press L2 on the puppet to begin recording something. In 3 seconds, the recording begins, and you can just steer it around as if you're possessing it. You can even add jumps and stuff if you want to, since it uses the normal controller sensor to operate and records all of those actions. But once you have it, just set it on loop and set it to travel and keep changes, and what you'll get is automatically he'll just start wandering around and he'll go off the beaten path a little bit. Now this particular recording that I made doesn't have a lot of speed or give to it. I've got this other one that I set to 200% amplification so that it'll go around a bit more. He'll go further, although it is still pretty random where he might end up. You may have noticed that I've also added a invisible hitbox to help him navigate around things. I've made it not collide with a foe, and I've labeled it foe. I've also made it a little bouncy, so that when he encounters walls, he'll slide across them easier. I suppose you could also turn down the friction to 0%. That would also be useful. And of course, I've labeled him as a foe and made it so he can't collide with other foes. But this will make it easier when he runs into walls, you know. He'll collide with them a little bit more smoothly. He has a wide box also, so he'll collide with them sooner. Like, he won't be completely jammed up against the wall. He'll be more far away from it when he encounters an impediment. But that's just one method. Probably the easiest method to make an NPC, run around. There is also something else that if you want him to leave his random cycle and start chasing you, you will need to turn this off. So, put it inside a chip and do the appropriate measures to turn it off. Usually just put it inside a microchip, turn it off, and the moment you've detected a player, just shut off the power with a keyframe or action recorder set to keyframe mode and set to loop, and that would probably prevent that from occurring. But the thing I want to talk about next is the alternative method. I guess we could call this random path. But the alternative method for creating random AI pathfinding, which is to stamp out a microchip. Inside this microchip, stamp down a rocket rotator, which you may be familiar with these. They're inside the movers and output section. I've set it to full rotation strength and full overall dampening, 180 rotation speed, and I've set it to stay upright. I've also, if you open the tweak menu with L1 and square like I have here, you can move around what direction it will make him turn, and you can align it properly to fit your enemy. Of course, I've put the arrow facing forward, so That's our, what do you call it? A frame of reference. And I've got this, which really should be called forward. But this is his forward movement. It's a microchip, again. Inside it, I've put down a little laser scope, which only detects things labeled scenery. It's on X-ray mode. And it's also set to both detect things that are invisible and non-collidable, which isn't entirely necessary, but I do it just in case. I've also arced it up a bit so that when he comes to stairs, he can still go up the stairs without hitting an impediment. Because basically what this does is it detects when he encounters a wall to prevent him continuously going forward. I've connected the laser scope to a NOT gate, which I've connected to a node, and to that node I have connected another NOT gate. L1 and square will allow you to open up the node and access its power setting to connect the NOT gate. And the node output is connected to a timeline set to play once. And on that timeline is a switch connected to the NOT gate. Kind of separate this out so you can see it all in its glory. That's what we're dealing with. And this is his forward movement. So when he comes to a wall, this NOT gate will be turned off automatically. And I've got a little mover on the timeline set to local space. No dampening whatsoever, but full strength and 3 for movement speed. It's just going to look like that. We could make it slower if you wanted. Also, the length and duration of our little timeline matter somewhat. I made it fairly short, but because the switch is shorter than the duration of the mover, he'll be continuously moving even though the loop is ended. And it'll just loop back to the beginning when it reaches the end of this switch. So he'll be continuously moving until he encounters a wall. Now when he does encounter a wall, it'll trigger this other node, which probably shouldn't be called forward. But it's relatively the same amount of logic. You know, NOT gate, switch, timeline, set to play once. All that stuff is the same. We've just removed this extra NOT gate to the input and directly taken the hit something input and stuck it in there. And what this does is it makes him go backwards when he encounters a wall. Same speed and everything else. It's a little bit different in that the switch actually has a longer duration than the mover this time. But before we demonstrate that, let's also look at this, which is my right / left movement chip. Very similar to the other chip. It also has, you know, a node with a NOT gate connected to it, and that node is connected to a timeline set to play once. The only difference is how they're triggered and what they do. They're triggered using 4 laser scopes rather than just 2. And these laser scopes, as you can see, this one's aligned diagonally so that if he encounters something diagonally, he'll begin to turn right. And you'll notice that it's if he encounters something to the left that he begins to turn right. This is so he can avoid objects to his left and head in the opposite direction that they appear. And of course, these laser scopes are all set to detect scenery, and the entire scene, all of it, is labeled scenery. So, that's something to keep in mind. Because none of this will work if everything's improperly labeled. Now, inside here, we've got the switch, of course, that prevents playback, but we've also got the mover, which is facing right, the opposite direction of the leftward pointing scope, I should say. And we've got an action recorder set to keyframe mode, and it's on loop. You may want to record it off the timeline, because you can get some weird blippy glitches when you tried to record things in here. Oh, well, in that case, it didn't go badly, but regardless, sometimes it could be a mess. I've set it to loop, though. And what it does is turn off our forward movement chip so that it won't interfere when he encounters something to the right. I also shut off the NOT gate for the left turn, because I would prefer to have it not interrupt this as well. And that's pretty much the only things that these action recorders control. And I've pretty much done the same thing in here for the left turn. Shut off the NOT gate up there, and I've also shut off the forward pathway finding. Now let's see how it works in practice. And don't forget to align, 2 right-angled laser scopes and 2 diagonal laser scopes for each direction. Like so. Otherwise, he might encounter a pillar or something and not be able to turn away from it. Now let's see it operate. Gonna turn off visibility a little bit for these mechanical things. And let's just see him go randomly. He will look a little bit glitchy, because he's changing velocity so quickly. But it's a pretty good method for finding random AI pathfinding. It is, of course, completely random, so sometimes, he'll do something kind of uninteresting, like hang out in a corner. But if you get lucky, he might go out the door, do something interesting like that. Oh look, he did. He's finding his way all over the place. Let's see where he goes after this. Maybe he can make it out that door, that'd be cool. Or he'll go right back in that room. But it is truly random, so you've got that advantage. He could even go up the stairs if we got lucky. Although the way these stairs are angled, they're pretty high up, so a lot of his laser scopes are probably colliding with them. That's why I made them diagonal earlier. Try to offset that a bit, but I think these stairs are way too steep for him. Anyway, hopefully you found that helpful when creating your own random AI. And don't forget, if you want him to follow the player, you're going to have to turn this off in that event. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was an insightful video or otherwise enjoyable. If it was, then go ahead and subscribe if you can, and hit the bell to keep up with our videos. Also, subscribed or not, give a like. If you have any questions or statements, leave a comment. We try to answer all comments. If you like what we do here and want to help out, consider becoming a channel member. Alternatively, you can check out the link in the description to support us through Patreon. Until next time, take it easy. That's all for now.